Hello everybody and welcome back to the YouTube channel. Oh my god, I'm actually quite nervous. That's ridiculous, isn't it? I'm talking to a camera in my apartment, but yes, actually, that is something we need to discuss. But before I get into that, hello, holla, welcome. If you're an OG, hello, I'm so glad to see you again. As the title suggests, we are going to be primarily discussing weight loss surgery. I am now 2 years post-op. I don't know if any of you remember my original I've decided to have weight loss surgery video, but now we are 2 years down the line and I just can't quite believe we're here. Like, I don't understand how it's come around so quickly. So much has changed since I was last on YouTube. I'm now in a much better place mentally to be doing YouTube, and I'm excited to be back. I've had so many people message me saying, I found you on YouTube, when's your next YouTube video coming out? And I didn't realise how in demand it was. So your girl is back, we're here, and we're gonna try not to mess it up. So what has changed since we last spoke? Before I get into the video, I feel like I just need to round up on sort of like where I've been for the past year. I've been in and out of jobs, I'm currently unemployed, I'm looking for something. However, my Instagram has really taken off. Last night I hit 19,000 followers, which is just incredible. I've also created a live series called Gastric Gossip, which I do almost every Sunday night with people within the weight loss community, and I'm just loving it. I have to be honest with you. Obviously I wish I could make it my full-time career, and hopefully one day I will, but for now I am loving it. It gives me so much purpose, and I'm just really passionate about it. If you're wondering why the background is different compared to the last time I spoke to you, I have bought an apartment since I was last on YouTube, which is just incredible, and I still, you can see my smile, like I can't quite believe that it's mine. I moved in October, and it's just been a bit of a whirlwind since, decorating it and making sure, like moving in for the first time. I might actually do a video on that if people are interested, because living by yourself for the first time is something that I honestly have never experienced before, and it's something that I never expected to be as difficult as it was to begin with. I think psychologically I thought I'd struggle with it. That bit I didn't, but things like, I don't know, standard adulting things that some people wouldn't struggle with, I found so difficult. So I may do another video on that, but we're here, we're thriving, we're surviving, and we move. So with that little intro done, let's get into the video. I went to Instagram. If you're not following me, by the way, I'll put my link in my bio and I'll put a little screenshot here. It is Sophiegotsleeved on the Insta. If you're not following me, make sure to give me a follow. I tend to keep that updated daily. And I took to Instagram to ask you guys questions that you wanted me to answer in my 2 years post-op video. So with that being said, we're gonna get on with today's video. I am gonna post my intro, but it is a really old intro and I'm hoping to change it. So enjoy it for now while you can. And with that being said, let's get on with the video. Okay, so first question, which was sent in by somebody, is if you could talk to your pre-op self, what would you say? This is a very emotional, deep question to begin with, but we're gonna go for it because I think it's important to answer. I think I didn't really need the reassurance before my surgery that it was going to go well, because I sort of thought to myself, well, it's not really up to me, it's up to the surgeon and it's up to the people at the hospital to do their job. All I have to really do is lie there. I think I would just reassure myself of the fact that like my life is truly about to change for the better. Obviously you have no way of knowing that before you have weight loss surgery, but you've chosen to go through a procedure which is obviously quite serious and quite drastic, but in reality it's something that is more than successful for the majority of people that go through with it. And I really wish Sophie back then could see Sophie now, because the life that I live now is just such a different life. I also just want to apologise, because one thing you'll get to know about me is that I am Queen Tangent. Like I get asked a question and I go off speaking about 9 other things. It's honestly one of my worst traits. So I'm really sorry if like I don't answer your questions accordingly. I will really try to stay on track. So I think I'd just reassure myself of the fact that like, even though it's a drastic operation, even though you feel so alone in what you're doing, there are 10,000 weight loss surgeries a year in the UK from when I last checked. And that's the UK alone. So even though you feel alone in what you're doing, it's very common, and just because weight loss surgery isn't something that's spoken about all the time doesn't mean that it's not happening, and it doesn't mean that you're the only one. I think another thing that I would reassure myself of is the fact that when I had weight loss surgery, I was convinced that I was going to be the only person it didn't work for. That is pretty much like impossible. Obviously there are complications that can arise and things like that depending on like your health, your weight, who you are, but in the grand scheme of things I think it's more reassuring of the fact that like these surgeons, they are professionals, they know what they're doing. I say to people, it's for them, it's like a day at McDonald's. They go and they make their burgers and that's it. They go and they operate on people and that's it. Like, there's no difference. It's just a day at the office for them. And I think that's something that would have reassured me post pre-op, knowing that, like, even though it was such a big deal for me, in reality, it's not such a big deal for them. They do it every single day. They know what they're doing, as long as you go to like a verified professional, obviously. So the next question is all about style. Somebody's asked me how you find your style post-surgery, and this is something that I actually spoke about on Instagram last night, and it is something that is so difficult. I'm wearing a sports bra right now. Like, I know for a fact that I've really struggled in terms of when I'm not wearing like athleisure, so like tracksuit bottoms or whatever, and when I'm not wearing stuff that I go to the gym in or stuff that I'm gonna play netball in. I've personally really struggled to find my style, because for me it's really a case of, well, I wear stuff for netball all the time, I wear gym stuff all the time, and then when it comes to like regular clothes, I very rarely need to, like, obviously I still go out, but when I go out I get super, super dressed up. So finding that mid in between stage of style is very difficult. One thing I can advise is follow on Instagram or any social media like mid-size lifestyle bloggers, because sometimes you can get your inspiration from them. Fashion bloggers are another one that's brilliant to follow, because even if like they're smaller than you and they don't have the same physique, you can often recreate outfits. TikTok is huge at the moment for fashion. If you want to give me a follow, I will put my TikTok here for you. But honestly, TikTok is huge at the moment for fashion, and you can just get inspiration from everywhere. It's something that I definitely struggle with on a day-to-day basis. I literally live in gym clothes, athleisure if that's what it's called, and then when I go out I like go ham and get super dressed up. I think it's also for the fact that, like, I think before surgery when I was like at my heaviest weight, I would constantly dress just to fit what fit me, and I dress for my size, whereas now I can pretty much wear, obviously not everything I want to wear, but the majority of things I want to wear I can. And now it's about realizing that the world is my oyster when it comes to fashion, and I'm experimenting with different things and figuring out new styles. And it is difficult because it's something that I've never had the privilege to do before, and it is a privilege even if we don't realize it is. Favourite NSV. For those of you that don't know, NSV is a term within the weight loss surgery community and in the weight loss community that stands for non-scale victory. It's something that's celebrated post-weight loss that's not just a direct reflection of the scales. It's more so to do with the fact that you've done something that you weren't able to do pre-weight loss. So one that sticks out in my mind is last September I did a skydive in Gran Canaria, and that is something that I've never been able to do, and it's something that I would have never even considered pre-weight loss, because A, I was too heavy, but B, I just would never have had the confidence to do something like that. I've always been a go-getter. I've always been like someone that will take on a challenge, but something where like my weight is can affect it so much, I would have never have considered. And I actually looked at when I was there, I looked at the weight limitations, and I was actually too heavy to do it at one point in my life. So that was an incredible non-scale victory. In terms of more psychological things, I think the most amazing thing for me and the biggest non-scale victory of all is just how important I feel now compared to how little self-worth I had prior. And I don't mean important as in like can shit on everybody and feel more important amongst other people, but it's more that I actually feel like a valid member of society now, whereas before I genuinely think that my weight made me feel as though I was less important compared to the people next to me and should be looked at less, and it makes you feel worthless. Like, unless you've been there and you've been through it, it's really hard to explain, but it makes you feel like, it makes you question everything about yourself. And I promise I'm not going to get emotional in this video, because I say that every video and then I end up crying, but it makes you feel as though it makes you feel worthless. It makes you feel as though your say in things doesn't matter and your opinion on things doesn't matter, because you're always going to get judged for being the fat person anyway. And it's belittling and it's degrading, and I think that is something that I'm so appreciative of now, the fact that now I just feel like a normal person, and that's all anybody ever wants when they are like morbidly obese. All they want to do is feel normal, and there isn't even such a thing as normal. Like, some people would look at me and still think I'm overweight. Some people would look at me and aspire to be the weight I am. Like, there's no norm when it comes to weight loss or sizing, but in reality, I just didn't want to be that morbidly obese person anymore. And I think that's why biggest non-scale victory for me is how I feel in terms of like how the weight loss has changed me and the confidence I have in myself and the self-worth I feel in myself now. Like, beyond anything, that for me is priceless. Like, I would have this surgery 10 times over just to have that feeling of going from that little self-worth I had to how I feel about myself now. Next question, were you scared when you were able to eat junk that you may go back to old habits? So this is a really good question, because I think, so just to give you a bit of a lowdown, I lost all my weight within the first year and a half, and then the last 6 months for me have been maintenance. I had a catch up with my surgeon a few weeks ago, and he said you've practically maintained for the past 6 months, which is just incredible. For me, and for anybody else on this journey, you'll understand that like maintenance is something that is so appreciated on this journey, because at one point in my life there was definitely a point where like I was probably gaining 2 to 3 kilograms a month easily, and now to have like maintained the same weight for 6 months, I know to somebody else that may seem like you've not changed at all. That is the dream for me. Like, that is a beauty in itself, that is, and I'm so appreciative of that, because I couldn't have done that without this surgery, 100% not. Just coming back to the question, was I scared that I was gonna jump into old habits? And when I realized I could eat junk, and I say that lightly because I don't really class any food as junk, but was I scared that I was gonna go back into old habits? Not really, because I trust my sleeve, and I think something that's so important in this journey is working with your sleeve, or any bariatric surgery that you've had, working with your tool to know that it's gonna work for you if you work for it. So now I would completely say that I do my best to maintain a balanced lifestyle. I still enjoy all food that I want to enjoy, but I know for a fact that like I can't go 3 days eating just pasta and know that I'm gonna be okay. More from like a protein perspective, and more from like making sure that I'm getting the right vitamins inside me and getting the right fibers inside of me and keeping that protein count high. And it's even at a point where like I don't want to eat pasta 3 days on the road because it's not gonna make me feel good. So now like I'll make sure to maintain a really high protein breakfast or something like that, and then enjoy like a nice lunch, and then maybe enjoy a nice dinner. But it's about keeping that balanced lifestyle. And I promise you, like, when you've lost a big bulk of weight, and I'm not talking maybe 1 or 2 stone, or like for my American viewers or anybody else that works in the other metric system, I'm not talking maybe like 5 kilograms, I'm talking I've lost 50 kilograms here. So when you've lost 50 kilograms, the last thing you ever want to do is ever imagine putting it all back on again. That would probably be one of my greatest fears. However, it's all relative, because I would say that I don't really have that fear anymore because I work with my sleeve and my sleeve works with me. I hope that I'm making sense. And I know that if you haven't had weight loss surgery and you are watching this video, it's probably mind-blowing to you. It's a huge part of my life, and not only from an Instagram and social media perspective, but from it, I literally live with it every single day. And I always tell people I probably would forget about it if it wasn't for like the fact I immerse myself in the community and I try and help others with their bariatric journeys. But in the grand scheme of things, it is something that I do have to deal with for the rest of my life. And it is tough. Like, if you don't keep your water count up and you don't keep your protein count up, you will start to feel the effects of it. And there are days where like I haven't necessarily had a really high protein day the day before, and I can feel the effects of it. I feel exhausted the next day. So there's a lot that goes into bariatric surgery that you may not necessarily see on the surface, but we move, we'll get there. So many of you are asking me to do like what I eat in a day videos, but I honestly think those videos personally are really difficult to film at any stage of your life, even if you've not had weight loss surgery, because I want to meet one person who eats the exact same thing every single day in their life, because I honestly don't know anybody like that. I know that like roughly you can keep sort of tabs on what you're eating and how many calories you're eating, or the protein intake. That I understand. And in that sort of sense, I'll sort of talk through with you how I try and manage my high protein intake. But as a whole, my eating changes on a day-to-day basis. There's also something called restriction, which is where how much you can eat changes on a day-to-day basis post-bariatric surgery. So I think it's quite difficult to ever say, well, yeah, I eat this every single day, because I don't necessarily think that's doable. On a day-to-day basis, I'd say that I try. At the moment, I'm unemployed, so I'm doing the work that I'm doing it from home. Therefore, it's easy for me to cook. And what I tend to do is start with a really high protein breakfast, usually chicken sausages or meat-free sausages or eggs, or a combination of the two. Sometimes I have avocado on toast, but I always make sure to have egg in there just to get that extra high protein count. If I ever have a morning where I don't really want to eat anything, I will usually make myself some form of like protein-based smoothie. I'll add like a spoonful of my proteins, vanilla flavored protein, just to add to it. And just to get that protein count up high to begin with. If I go to the gym, I know that I'll eat more on that day, and I usually snack on things like Baby Bell cheese and the little protein bites that you can get from any supermarket, satay chicken skewers, any form of meat, anything like that. Spinach is a great one, it's really high in protein. Or tuna. Tuna's another thing that I tend to like, it's my go-to for protein as well. I think, don't quote me, but I think in like 1 tin of tuna there's like 23 grams of protein. And I think it does get easier. I think you can be quite over-faced when you first venture on this journey. I think it can be quite over-facing to try and know that you have to hit your water count, and you have to hit your protein count, and you have to eat your vitamins every single day, and it can be difficult. But I do genuinely believe that the further out on this journey you get, the easier it is, because it becomes more of like a lifestyle. I always tell people that, like, looking back on my journey for the past 2 years, the first 6 weeks are the most difficult by far. Then the first 6 months are like your learning process, and you learn what's right for you, and you slowly grow into it. And then the next 6 months after that, you've completed a year post weight loss surgery, and now the second year, or the second 6 months after that, are more about like living with your tool and really getting to grips with it and being like, okay, I've done 6 months of this, here's to the next 6 months, and I've got this. And you'll probably still see losses, and you'll start to like understand the peaks and troughs of your journey. And then the second year post weight loss surgery for me is when you really start living. You've got a really good understanding of like your diet, a really good understanding of like what you need to be taking every day from a vitamin perspective, how to get your water in. You might have even started an exercise routine, and you're really starting to live with it. You've got to remember as well, like for the past 6 months I've completely maintained, it's not been about weight loss in the slightest. And even though it is a weight loss surgery, the past 6 months for me have been learning how to maintain, making sure that I'm drinking enough water to maintain, going to the gym, starting an exercise routine. One of my New Year's resolutions this year was to go to the gym 3 times a week, and I'm really proud to say that last week, for the first time, I actually hit that. I've been going like once and twice, and last week I went 3 times, which I'm really proud of, but it's taken me 2 years post-sleeve to get there. So don't put too much pressure on yourself to like get into it too quickly, because you don't have to be perfect at the start of this journey. It's not about that. And I know it's really easy to like look on social media and Instagram particularly and see people's journeys and think, wow, she's doing it correctly, wow, he's doing it correctly, I need to be more like him. But one of the biggest pieces of advice I could give to you on this journey is to figure it out yourself. Everybody's body is different, and everybody's weight loss surgery journey will be different. Do not compare yourself to people on Instagram, because half the time, A, they could be lying, and B, you don't know if necessarily what you're seeing will work for you. I've had so many people tell me that like the multivitamin gummies that I take aren't good enough, and they don't give me enough of a vitamin count, but they work for me. And my surgeon, who is my medical professional, has told me that my bloods are of a good level and I'm of a healthy state, and he's really proud of me. So always trust the medical professional before you use Dr. Instagram to help you, because it's honestly not something that I would ever recommend as a viable source of information. This is such a good question. So something that I'm really passionate about, and something that I always get asked, is how to deal with negativity from people when you tell them that you're going to have weight loss surgery. Something you need to know is that not every single person will agree with your decision. A lot of people, there's ignorance for 2 reasons. The majority of people just don't understand it, and that's fine. If you've got the privilege of never being morbidly obese in your life, then great, but you can't ever expect somebody to understand something that you're going through if they've never experienced it themselves. And the second reason why people don't like it is because there may be an element of jealousy. It's a privilege to have weight loss surgery, like it truly is, whether you have it free on the NHS if you live in the UK, whether you pay for it and go privately. Not everybody can afford to pay for it. But it's an absolute privilege, like it really is, and it's something that I never take for granted, because I know that even like from a physical perspective, some people actually try and gain weight to have weight loss surgery because they're that desperate for a way out. So I know for a fact that having weight loss surgery is such a privilege, and it's something that I'd never ever take for granted. I think you need to understand that everybody's journey in life is different, and I think some people, even if they're coming from a place of care, they will never understand what you're going through. They'll never understand binge eating. They'll never understand the struggle that you may have had with your weight and because of your weight. And finally finding a way out, such as weight loss surgery, is so immensely liberating, because it's like you could try your entire life to lose weight and somebody is finally giving you a lifeline. It can be the most heartbreaking thing when you reach out to the people you love the most and they don't support you in the way that you think they're going to. I think you have to be okay with the fact that not everybody's going to agree with your decision. And I understand from a care perspective that people may be nervous for you, and like, I'm sure that my parents were nervous for me, and I truly do understand like why the nerves would be there. But more than anything, they were there and they were supportive, and they said, we will support you no matter what, be it paying for the surgery, be it holding your hand on the day of the surgery, be it buying you all the relevant things afterwards. And I'm so privileged to have had and also have that incredible support system. You don't need the world rooting for you when you have weight loss surgery, but it does help to have the people around you supporting you. If you are going through with weight loss surgery and you're watching this because like social media is your only lifeline because the people around you aren't supportive of you, just know that like you're doing this for you. And I know that I speak from a place of privilege because I have had the people around me to help me, but honestly, like, you're doing this journey for you, and it's so sad that people wouldn't support you with it because it's such an incredible thing. And I understand that people are nervous, and I understand that it's quite a drastic measure, and there's so much like lack of understanding, and it's something that's not spoken about regularly enough, and there is a horrendous stigma that it is the easy way out. But I'm telling you, it's not. Like, it's a bloody difficult journey, and you have to work with your tool as much as your tool's going to work for you. And I lost friends on this journey. Like, my best friend didn't support me in the slightest. I think she was jealous, who knows, but in the grand scheme of things, she turned really nasty on me when I had my weight loss surgery. I don't really think about her now. I think about the fact that I'm 50 kilograms down and literally living my best life. I think it's about doing what's right for you. That should always be your priority. And I know a lot of people watching this will have children, and they'll have people to worry about in their lives, and they'll have responsibilities, but this is your weight and your health. And the fact that like when I had this weight loss surgery, I was 50 kilograms heavier, 23, and beyond depressed with my weight and beyond depressed with my life. And now, yeah, okay, I'm unemployed and I struggle, but I have my health. And that makes you so appreciative of life, I can't even tell you. Like, the fact that I've given my parents as well the reassurance that their daughter is now of a healthy weight and can now live a much longer life and healthier life and happier life. I think not only have I looked after myself, but I've looked after my parents in a way. Like, I'm an only child. Like, it's not as if they've got 6 other kids to worry about. So I did it for them, of course I did, but first and foremost, you do it for yourself. You do it knowing that you're going to be able to elongate your life. If you've got small kids, you do it knowing that you're going to be able to run around with them. You find your reason, you find your why, and you do it for that, and you focus on nothing else. And it's hard when people don't support you, and it's hard when like you think you're going to have the support and it's just not there. And I get that, and I get the struggle, but use the tools around you. Like, Instagram has been fundamental for me in this journey. I've made some incredible friends off the back of Instagram, and people that have supported me when nobody else has, because they've not understood. Like, there's been times, like, my mum is my best friend, but there's been times where like I've gone to people on Instagram straight away. I've gone to like my doctor straight away because she wouldn't understand. And that's not because she doesn't want to. She's done all the reading and watched all the videos with me, and she follows everybody on Instagram that she needs to follow in order to get all the right information, but she's not been through the procedure. So utilize social media, like follow people on Instagram, follow people on TikTok, watch YouTube videos as you're doing now, because social media is an incredible place because it makes you realize you're not alone in your journey, even if you feel alone where you're situated in the world. I was fortunate enough to go to the bariatric retreat in November. I went over to California, and it was absolutely incredible. And I think just something that was so empowering was being in a room full of like 200 people that have all been through the same thing as me. So keep yourself surrounded by people that are going through the same thing as you, as well as like the real people in your life. Don't be afraid to like educate people on the importance of weight loss surgery, and try and do your best to remove the stigma around it. And I think by sharing your journey and being open with your journey, that is how you will help to remove the stigma surrounding weight loss surgery. That's one of the reasons why like I do Sophiegotsleeved on a day-to-day basis, because I had a girl message me the other day, that a girl that I used to go to school with, and she said, I just have to reach out to you. A girl that I work with is considering weight loss surgery, and I have to be honest with you, beforehand, I think if she would have said it to me, I would have been like, wow, that's so drastic, it's the easy way out, there's so many complications with it. Whereas I follow you, and I'm not even considering weight loss surgery. I mean, she's like a size 8, like very content with her figure, very healthy, human being. And she even said to me, like, I follow you and I've seen the wonders weight loss surgery does and the community that you're in. And that's somebody outside of the weight loss surgery community that can see how incredible weight loss surgery is as a tool. So I think it's really, really important to be open with your journey. And I know it's difficult, and I know that not everybody has a fancy camera and can create a YouTube video, and not everybody's got the confidence to want to go through with their journey and put it all over social media, and you don't have to do that, and that's fine. But I'm just simply saying that sometimes if you take it on the chin and be proud of your journey and understand your why and understand why you're doing this more than anything, that will push you through and make you proud of the journey that you're about to embark on, or that you may be embarking on right now. I feel like we got a little bit Martin Luther King there. I feel like that was obviously a question that I'm really passionate about the answer to, because obviously I do all I can every day to try and remove the stigma around weight loss surgery. I don't even know if that was what the question was asking me, because I am the worst at going off on a tangent. But you will receive negativity, and there's no doubt about it. You will receive like looks from people that think you've taken the easy way out. And you know what? Like, if they want to think that we've taken the easy way out, that's fine. Like, it's not up to you, and it's not your journey to worry about, and that's all I have to say on that matter. So the next question is something that's been asked so many times. It's just surrounding loose skin following weight loss surgery. I do have a lot of loose skin. I've got it on my arms, I've got it on my stomach. This is currently the loose skin on my arms, which, okay, I know to some people may not seem like a lot, but it is to me. Like, I am very aware of it, and it is sitting there, and that is that. I think one thing I will say is that I'm really lucky with my loose skin, because even though I have quite a lot on my stomach, that's where it sits the most. And you know what? I'm gonna show you. This is what people want to see. Let's not lie, guys. So, yeah. So let's talk about loose skin, and let's be open with it. So I do have loose skin on my arms. The majority of the loose skin does sit on my stomach, and this is where I carry the majority of it. And this is following a 50-kilogram weight loss. So people do say to me, like, are you gonna have surgery to remove it? And the answer is yes. I have waited a long time to decide whether loose skin removal is right for me. I don't think I'm necessarily gonna get it on my arms. I am a bit worried about the loose skin on my arms, but I go to the gym regularly, and I live in a very cold climate, so I often have things covering me anyway. It's the same with my thighs. I have a lot of loose skin on my thighs. I won't be showing you that because I don't think that's super appropriate on the YouTube, but the majority of the loose skin sits on my stomach, and I think it's time, 2 years post-surgery, to now start considering plastics. I am in talks with a few surgeons and people helping me find the relevant surgeon and the correct surgeon for me. And honestly, I'm gonna be so frank with you all, it's terrifying, because weight loss surgery, yes, okay, it's an elective surgery, and I decided that I needed it, but it was more so for my health. This is like 98% for the way that I look, and people would argue and say, well, that's not really fair because you've lost a large amount of weight and now it's like the natural next step. But I don't think it necessarily is. Like, I sit here to you feeling very healthy and very confident in myself, loose skin and all. Like, it's nothing to do with like how it affects me. And yeah, okay, on a night out, I'd love to not have that bump in my dress where my stomach just sort of flops, but we would all love that. And when you've been morbidly obese, you sort of like appreciate, and you sort of like accept the little things more than you would have done before. Like, I feel as though one thing you have to be careful about with this journey is that the self-improvement side of things can be addictive, and when you start to change one thing, you're like, oh, well, I've done my weight now, what else can I change? And that's why I really wanted to like take it easy and take it slow when it came to like going through the plastics journey and making sure it was correct for me. But you know what, I'm really proud of myself for doing that, and 2 years post-op, I've come to absolutely love my body, and I'm now at a stage where I can say that I love my body, but it's absolutely okay to say that you love your body and still want to change it. That's not, I used to think that was such a hush-hush topic, when it's not. Like, I've fallen in love with myself, and I'm finally at a stage where I can say that. But at the same time, I know that I think a tummy tuck or something along those lines would make me happier. I am going to vlog my entire plastics journey, and it is something that's going to come separate to this video. So make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel if you're not already, and you can keep up to date with that. Just because I think it's a really important part of this journey to document. So another question that's really popular, and I think I'm gonna end it on this question. I'm sorry to end it on such a negative note, but it's something that I'm asked all the time, and I think it's something that's important to be discussed. A lot of people have asked me, what have you found most difficult about this journey? And I have to be honest with you and tell you that, like, the body dysmorphia element has absolutely wrecked me on some occasions. And what I mean by that is like, because you lose the weight so quickly with weight loss surgery, it's almost like your brain doesn't have time to match up to the weight loss. And honestly, like, there are days where I will put an outfit on and I will look in the mirror and I'm actually like shocked that that is me in the mirror. And people think that I say this because I'm begging for compliments and that I want people to tell me how good I look, when in reality, the girl that I've seen in that mirror for 23 years, I'm expecting to see somebody completely different. I'm so used to that reflection, and I have been for the past 23 years, that now, when you are 2 years post weight loss surgery, my brain hasn't fully caught up with the fact that I've gone from like a really super obese size 22 to 24 to now a really comfortable size 12. Like, it's mind-blowing, and it's something that it's obviously not the worst problem to have, and I don't want anyone to watch this and be like, wow, great, you've gone down however many dress sizes and like you're struggling with clothes and you're struggling with your appearance. But I promise you, like, I know it's really difficult to sit on that side of the fence and see things from my perspective, but it can be such a head fuck, I can't even tell you. And it's almost like I genuinely went into weight loss surgery really naively thinking that it would solve all my problems. I don't really mean like problems as in like problems outside of my weight, but I genuinely thought I'd be so happy with my body, it would change my entire life, which it has done, but it just doesn't like fix all your problems. Like, I still have loose skin to worry about. There is an element of body dysmorphia that I'm struggling with. I buy clothes. Look at these trousers, guys. I bought these a few weeks ago. Well, that's a lie, I was gifted them and I'm really appreciative of that, but look at the size of them. Like, I still buy clothes that are just way too big for me because I can't wrap my head around the fact that like I'm a lot smaller than I actually feel as though I am, if that makes sense. Obviously, I'm not ignorant. I know it's not the worst issue to have, but it can be such a head fuck. It really can. And I think that's another reason why like I struggle with clothes and finding my style as well, because like the girl that I'm dressing for now, I've never been that girl before, so how is anybody meant to know like what they can and can't wear right now? And how is anybody meant to know what clothes go together when before I just sort of lived in leggings because nothing else fit me? Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. So I think we're going to end the video there. I feel like I've been talking for England and I feel like this video is going to be half an hour long. I am so happy to be back on YouTube. I really am going to make a conscious effort this year to get back into the swing of things with YouTube, because loads of you have messaged me saying that you found Sophiegotsleeved through YouTube, and I'm so appreciative of that. I actually love doing this and I love filming videos, especially ones that you guys have requested, and I know that this was a really heavily requested video. I'm going to end it just by saying thank you so much for supporting me on this journey. Like, I feel as though I can't actually believe that I'm 2 years post-op, and I feel like I've got so much more to give, and I'm so excited to document my plastics journey with you all. If you're not already, make sure you're following me on Instagram, and as always, I'm going to bring it back and say like, comment, and what do I say? Like, make sure to give this like, I've not done it in that long. Make sure to give me a thumbs up, make sure to drop a comment in the comments, and make sure you're subscribed. I think it's that. I'm gonna have to watch back my old videos because it's been so long, but make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That was it. And as always, I will see you in my next video. Ciao.